Hello, friends. This is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions, and I am Magpie. Every year when it gets to be October, it can get a little strange in here, and I just wanted to head that off at the pass. I thought we would just hang out and have a comfy October. So I bought this cardboard box full of reel-to-reels from the old theater, and they seem pretty cool. I thought we would watch them, and the machine only smells a little bit like ozone when I plug it in. Anyway, who are you people, and how did you get in here?
I'm Blackle. I'm normally here. I'm like a normal human being person, apparently. Actually, I don't think I'm human. I can't remember. I'm some kind of weird skeleton, I think, actually, when I think about it. Because it's Halloween. It's Halloween, and we're all different creatures. But I'm Blackle. I forgot to mention for the last month that I watched Cater the Right Answer over a weekend.
Oh yeah, the Cube show?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Oh yeah?
It's good, and then it takes a turn at the very end.
Oh, it just dives?
It kills itself. It's
incredible.
Awful. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
I'm Scott. I am a conceptual being from another dimension that has just appeared for today to smell some ozone and watch a film or just something, I guess.
Are you perchance a cube that has consumed a Japanese airplane?
I am definitely like a like a diamond cube shape that will turn into a gun and scream really loud. Yeah.
Excellent.
Hot girl shit.
Hot girl autumn. That's all I'm here for.
Ladies and gentlemen, and those who know better, the tomb is empty, and Emma has returned from the grave.
Wait, for Halloween, you're Jesus.
I'm Jesus year-round.
You
honestly,
the boulder aside.
The only thing that's the difference between Jesus and a mummy is like one border of a country over. So
I thought it was the wrappings.
Yeah, Jesus had maybe a little bit less wrappings.
Jesus had bars. That's true.
It's true. Jesus did have bars.
Jesus flung bars. That makes me think if Jesus was like an archetype and him just like dying and coming back to life was just a thing he does, like part of his moveset.
Yeah, that's actually the cross isn't the first time he did it. When he resurrected after 3 days, his disciples were like, "Oh mate, not again! Come on, you can't keep doing this, dude."
Every time, we get it.
Judas killed himself over this one.
I'm just.
I maybe made a mistake by introducing Christian elements to our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a mistake. I think that was
and incidentally, mummies as well.
Religion is the scariest concept of all.
No, I've just been thinking about like the crucifixion, except they stole his internal organs and filled them with lacquer. So
we all know they didn't do that.
And then the only way you need to defeat him is if you like pulled on one of his wrappings and he kind of spun around and unraveled.
You know, real Abbott and Costello shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you guys want to hear some anime news?
Absolutely.
We do that here. I've got a couple of pieces of news, one last second edition that will be very short. But anyway, finally, a piece of Japanese stage play news actually matters to our listenership.
Oh shit!
In that the Spirited Away stage play will be available on U.S. home video in December 2023.
Like VHS?
Yeah, they're gonna put it on VHS.
They're gonna put it on Betamax.
Man.
You know, I wouldn't mind having that on a big old fucking laser disc. But last minute addition to the news: One Piece to make history with Luffy balloon for Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. That is right. The King of the Pirates will be there to kill Goku.
Oh shit!
Anime's never going to beat the inflation fetish allegations.
He will replace him.
No, Magpie, you raise an interesting point, because what exactly is making his... Goku's already there, you know? I guess Luffy's the first One Piece character in the Macy's Day Parade.
Yes, he is.
Unless you really squint at like Rudolph.
Yeah. Goku and to a lesser extent Sonic the Hedgehog were already there.
Pikachu is also like anime character.
Yeah.
Pikachu is an animal.
Yeah.
Anyway, in bad news, looks like there may be trouble at MAPPA Animation in that several employees seem to be implying that it's full of asshole slave drivers and the schedule is all fucked up and they mistreat the animators all the time.
No.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say it's full of asbestos, but that's so much worse.
It's full of asbestos.
It might be both.
It might be.
I obviously can't read their posts, but two freelancers. One of them is named Shunsuke Okubo, and there's another guy, Itsuki Tsuchigami. Both who are pretty well-known freelancers and have been complaining extensively about a company they will not name, which seems pretty suspicious given that they're almost certainly working on Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. And they may have been bound by an NDA that limits their ability to talk shit about their working conditions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never good.
Let's see. We have some translations of tweets. They seem pretty dire.
That's sad.
I feel like I want to kill all the people who were laughing at me in the first half of the project when I was shouting that things were going to get really bad if things continued like this.
Oh, jeez.
That's intense.
The production desk just abandoned their duties. It's over.
These read like logs from Fallout.
Yeah, they're pretty rough.
That's rough.
This is turning into a found footage podcast.
Genuinely.
But finally, I'll bring it up a notch in that, depending on how resentful you are of this, in that Crunchyroll has announced that they're going to get in the Halloween spirit, and they have announced that a number of anime will be straight up free to watch on their service, like it used to be.
Woo!
For the month of October, including hits such as, let's see, Hell's Paradise, Hellsing, Higurashi. Everybody loves Higurashi. Let's see, Trinity Blood, and a bunch of others. So if you want to watch any of those, you can look up that post and see the rest and pick one. I figured I'd kick things off in the traditional way with a completely unknown horror anime. This week, I think we're going to watch Ghost Hunt.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Just Ghost Hunt.
Just Ghost Hunt.
Just Ghost Hunt.
So, a priest and a monk and a shrine maiden and a medium and a ghost hunter walk into a bar.
So many characters. I had to write everybody down.
It's like a fucking clown car in here.
Let's get through this pretty quickly so we can talk about the vibes in here. We'll do the quick rundown. We open on three high school girls staying after class telling ghost stories. The first one tells the story of fucking red coat and blue coat, if I remember.
Yeah, it wasn't just any ghost story, Magpie. It was the world's worst ghost story.
It's the worst ghost story in the world.
It was
the
least
stinky.
scary.
Wait, you don't like red cape and blue cape or whatever the fuck it is?
I hate red cape, blue cape, and I hate the yellow cape too, and
You
I
don't
hate
like?
him. I
Do you
hate
know?
him.
Do you know?
Whenever your ghost story has she answered for some reason she didn't know why, it's not a good story.
That's fucking all of them. That's the scissor woman too.
Yeah, but you don't say it out loud.
But anyway, they're telling ghost stories, and they have a little game set up. They have the lights turned out, and they each have a little click on glow stick. And whenever they're done telling their story, they click theirs off, and then they count. And there's 3 of them, and supposedly, if all the lights have finally gone off, whenever they count, somebody will answer 4. So she tells her story, and everybody, and they're just like, "Ooh, spooky." And it's about as spooky as any American regional ghost story, which is probably dumb as shit.
Yeah, and it was dumb as shit. I also loved there was a part where they're like, "Don't use your scary voice," and she's just like talking in her normal voice.
Don't use my scary voice.
So good.
Notable exception of the fucking Washington State area or Washington D.C. area bunny man, because there is nothing more to it than there is a bunny man.
Yeah,
and he
What
has
if
an
there was
axe.
a bunny man?
It's just like, shit. What if he did have an axe? That is scary. But then the next girl in line tells her story, and her story is a local story. It's about the old schoolhouse. It's made out of wood on the property, on the school property. That's from like the previous generation, and they're talking about how there's a curse on it. You see, they only managed to knock down a third of it because there was an accident that killed one of the workers, and then way before that, a teacher committed suicide in there. And then whenever they started trying to tear it down further, a truck careened into a field and killed a student. There's a curse.
The only other horror themed anime I've ever seen was Ghost Stories, which also was about a school that had an old schoolyard, like schoolhouse made of wood on it where the ghosts are. Does every school in Japan have an old schoolhouse that's haunted?
They have the old
property.
It works.
Even when they build new schools, they have to build an old school.
Yeah, is it just like actually, a line of schools that they just keep rebuilding over and over again?
I think it's kind of like tantamount to the Native American burial ground stereotype in America, where it's like the like cliche in Japan is like, oh yeah, the old creepy schoolhouse that
at least theirs is less racist
next to ours. Yeah.
Well, two things. Two things about it. The Japanese like Shinto belief has an actual terror of old buildings because they do believe they're haunted as shit.
Okay.
Not necessarily by human ghosts, just by virtue of being old buildings.
This is true.
And also, there are a shitload of abandoned schools in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I even remember watching a YouTube series about an American guy going over there and buying one in the mountains because it was cheap as fuck and turning it into his home.
Oh. Okay.
Kind of cool.
Because the Japanese don't like old buildings.
But was there a psychic researcher and a shrine maiden and a monk and
we do really need to get to it or we'll be here all night. So
can I bring us back with my main complaint about this girl's telling of the story?
Mm-hmm.
She starts by saying, you guys know, it didn't really collapse. They stopped construction because it was cursed. And then in the telling of the story, she says that the roof collapsed on a guy. Like, what are you talking about?
None of these girls know what they're talking about. That is very evident from this entire episode that none of them know what they're talking about.
Mai is really the only like normal person.
Yeah, the two girls that she's with are non-characters.
So anyway, she turns out her light, and they all count down. I don't remember my Japanese numbers. It's like ich, ni, san, and I can't remember what 4 is. But it's
which is actually a fun pun. First of all, great job, you remembered it. And second of all, it's a fun pun because there are 3 girls, and the number 4, she, is also the word for death.
Yeah, it's cursed. It's cursed ass number.
Usually when you're counting, you say "yon" to avoid that, but it's like a pun because they think he's a ghost. It's just fun.
So yeah, fourth voice says she and scares the shit out of all of them, and then somebody flicks on the lights and it's just a guy, and he's just like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself."
Not just a guy. The designed anime shorthand for a smart asshole hot guy.
Yeah, for like a smarter, like kind of older teenager guy.
Yeah.
We are informed that this man is ludicrously sexy, but he really just looks like Kirito.
He looks a little older than Kirito.
He looks a little older, and I will say a little better. But
you know what? You know what he fucking sells to me, which is really fucked up, and it's Kaji from Evangelion. But
yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, he spooks them, and they're just like, "Oh, don't do that! You scare us!" And he's just like, "You telling ghost stories? I like ghost stories. Can I tell ghost stories with you?" And they're just like, "Oh, of course." Except for Mai, who's just like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
I know I know what they're doing with Mai, right? She's supposed to be like the, I'm not into this guy like everyone else is. I think he's a jerk. Like this trope. It does come off that she just is a massive lesbian. This is how I interpret it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And she's just like, I don't understand. I know objectively that he's hot. I know that people find him hot, but I just kind of think he's a jerk. And that is like the lesbian experience.
Uh-huh.
I have to say, a lot of times when people say that, I don't always feel it, but I did in fact feel that this time. I think that they did too good of a job of making this guy a dick that it was like I couldn't imagine a world where this girl could like him.
I know, I'm sure as the show goes on, that's exactly what happens. But in this perfect world where I only have seen the first episode, I get to continue thinking Mai is a lesbian that's just now has to hang around this jerk she doesn't like. It's a lot funnier.
Hell, even if they became friends, it would still be funnier if they kept that dynamic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just like me and fucking Dick for Brains the Ghost Hunter.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving right along. The other two are fawning over him, and she's just like, actually, I think I'll fucking go home.
Right. The proper the response to that, yeah.
Also, it's never explained. Did you notice it's never explained why he's just wandering around the main school building?
There's a lot of things that are not explained in this episode.
But it's because the script's over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, we cut to the next morning. With Mai getting ready to come into school. And to come into school, you have to pass by the old school building, which is appropriately creepy. It's an older, kind of boxy, wooden Japanese school. I wonder if they're spooked by wooden buildings too, because they didn't used to last very long, because they used to be like endemic fucking fires.
Yeah, I mean, the most spookiest thing of all is improper building codes. So.
But anyway, she stops to look at it, and she's just like, whenever you look at it like this, it actually is really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know what? You're right, Mike. I've often done that in my life and just looked at a building and gone, God, what the fuck?
I do enjoy Mai a lot as a protagonist.
Me too.
There was a lot of things that these characters I was like, okay. But Maya was like, okay, actually I do enjoy it whenever she talks, which is high praise.
She talks and pulls faces and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, she goes to investigate a little more, and she sees something just in the entrance hall, which is the same entrance hall as every other Japanese school. It's got the lockers and the place for your shoes, so you don't track dirt in. But she sees something in there, and she's just like, "What is that? That looks like a TV camera. What is that in there?" And she just walks in because they didn't lock the place. They didn't lock the dangerous fucking decaying building. But the little urban explorer gets in there, and it's it's a TV camera. And she's like, what is this doing here? Why is it like this? And she reaches out to touch it, and she hears a voice behind her. She's just like, hey, stop. And she turns around and elbows one of the tall shelves for the shoes and lockers, right? By accident. And she's like, who's there? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And of course, physics causes it to rock back and then forward, and nearly falling on her and crushing her. And this stranger pushes her out of the way pretty quickly. And she falls on her ass, and the shelf just smashes to pieces. She's just like, oh shit, oh god. And she's like, are you all right? And the guy's just like, ugh.
Yeah, he's not in a good way.
Yeah, he's not like anime hurt. He's like, I have a concussion.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Like
They really sell that like fucked this guy
yeah,
up.
like
There's blood. Yeah, I was concerned for his health for a second there.
Yeah, he like bit his own mouth in the way that you do whenever you get hit in the back of the head. But yeah, she's like, oh my god, can I help you? And he like bats her hand away. She's like, I don't need your help.
Yeah, assholes. This turns out to be.
Yeah, this turns out to be a guy who works for the asshole guy, whose name is Shibuya Kazuya Shibuya.
In my notes, I wrote down Shibuya is asshole, and that his partner Lin is asshole's boyfriend, because they were real handsy with each other for the 4 seconds they were on screen.
They were tussling each other.
But yeah. So old Shibu Kazu runs in and goes to pick him up, and she's just like, "Wait a second, you're the guy from before." And she's just like, "You're the girl from before." And she's like, "I'm sorry, I just saw the camera in here, and I was wondering what." It's just like, "Save that shit. Is there a doctor around here?"
Yeah.
He's dying. The whole back of his head is flat.
God.
We heard a solid crack on his noggin whenever that he went down. We have to get him to a hospital.
But she's like, oh yeah, there's one just past the entrance, and he picks him up to take him away, and he's just like, I feel like, out of the kindness of my heart, I should tell you, I heard the school bells ring. She's like, oh shit.
That was really good. That was a very good character moment between the two that I did enjoy.
From the kindness of my heart.
So yeah, we cut to later in the day, and she's back with the what are we going to call these girls? They don't even have names.
The fangirls. Their names were Kaiku and Michiru, but I just called them the fangirls.
Yeah, the fangirls or something. I don't know why immediately to my brain, just like every other time, the boner boys sprung to my mind. But yeah, they're hanging out, and they're talking about it. It's just like, oh, we gotta wait around for Shibuya to tell ghost stories and shit. And then we have now what's her name?
Her name is the name I got was Karudo.
Karudo. We're gonna call her Karudo, which is probably a surname. But
yeah, I think it is.
Kuroda?
Kuroda, maybe?
It was Korudo chan, like Karudo chan. That was the only name they used for her.
Anyway. Actually, I have a more characters button, so I'll just go find out.
I feel rather strongly that it was Kuroda, because Karudo is not a name.
That maybe I.
But it went by fast. I didn't even catch her name.
They said it exactly once in the entire episode.
Her name is fucking Naoko.
Oh.
Naoko Kuroda. So point Emma.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna call her Naoko.
That's good.
With the mega neko with the fucking glasses.
I wrote her down as empath. That's what I put her down.
Yeah, she's an empath. They're talking about how they're gonna tell ghost stories, and she's just like appears in the doorway. She's like, have you been telling ghost stories?
That's why I had a headache.
That's why I've had a headache for so long. You see, I'm very spiritually sensitive.
I fucking loved her. She deserves the world.
And I'm very spiritually sensitive, and whenever you tell ghost stories, you stir up low-level spirits, and they bring in the high-level spirits, and then it's a whole mess. It's a whole problem, and you gotta call a union guy to fix it. And
I loved this girl because she is the quintessential girl in the elementary school playground that's just like, I'm a witch and I cursed you, and like throw some dirt on your chest. And you're like, okay.
She is a powerful Chinibyo.
Yeah,
so funny. I love
she
that.
was such a jobber. I love.
but yeah, and yeah, then Shibuya comes in and it's just like, just be like, hey, yeah, we're gonna tell some ghost stories, and she's just like, don't do that. And I know about the ghosts of all the people who died in the war, because that used to be a hospital. And he's just like, really? I looked it up on Google and I didn't see it was a hospital. I thought it was built as a school. And she's just like,
whatever.
The powerful debating between these two, I just what a gal, what a woman.
He says almost nothing to her, but it cuts her like he called her a stupid bitch to her face.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he appeases the fangirls for a second, but he's just like, "Mai, can we have a word?" And she's just like, so that was my assistant, and you knocked over a shelf on him and my $7,000 camera.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's just like, oh God, yeah. Well, how much did it cost? She's just like, more than you have.
More than you're worth, honey.
And she's just like, I want you to be my replacement assistant while he recovers from his sprained leg. And she's just like, what do you do?
This girl got Iran high schooled into becoming this guy's ghost hunting assistant.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
10 out of 10.
I love the cringe on her face, because he's just like, you're not gonna proposition me, are you? But yeah, he's just like, oh, you just want me to ghost hunt with you? Yeah, okay, I fucking guess. I guess I'm stuck doing this. I did break your camera and maim your employee. Because yeah, he's not a student. He was never a student. He didn't have a uniform to begin with.
He was just walking around that school for fun.
He was just walking around that school. Because he works for like the Shibuya Paranormal Research Society or something like that. Psychic Research Society. I don't know. It's some ghost hunting bullshit. And it's some authentic tasting ghost hunting bullshit. This does really feel like any non-BuzzFeed aligned ghost hunting shit.
Yeah, it was. Yes. Yeah.
So
if I could interject for just a second with a little Japanese with Emma bit.
Oh, good.
It's been a while. So the place that he works, first of all, there's a gag where Mai doesn't understand the loan words that he keeps using.
He keeps using English loan words, and so we get during this episode we get like a half a fucking dozen Keikaku means plan moments.
Yeah.
Just in reverse.
It's really funny. So he's using English words for what he calls the place, which is Shibuya Psychic Research. The reason that he does this is so that it can have English initials SPR, which sounds like Esper, which is the Japanese word for a psychic.
Oh, they fucking love espers, a concept that hasn't existed in the English language since the fucking 1800s.
I also it does kind of make me want to watch the dub, because I want to see how there are so many moments where they explicitly say the English word and then explain what the English word means. I'm curious to know what they use in the dub.
Yeah,
I would love it to just be dead air.
I actually, it's funny that you say that, Scott, because literally right under my note where I wrote that, I wrote, I wonder if I wouldn't have liked this better in English. Spoiler, at the very end of the episode in the credits, it says like a bunch of the English crew. And one of them is Justin Cook, who he's really famous for doing Yu Yu Hakusho, which is like one of the best English dubs of all time. And the English dub has so many of my favorite voice actors in it, like Jeremy Lee and like Travis Willingham and fucking like J. Michael Tatum and all these people that I love. So it was a little bit sad.
I was dreading how you were going to complete that sentence because I don't know why I was convinced that you were going to say it had fucking Vic Mignogna in it.
No, unfortunately, you are pretty close. It has Todd Habercorn in it, who is Vic Mignogna's best friend.
Oh God!
Who was like, Vic didn't do anything. Anyway, sorry.
We do have to finish out this scene because this scene does have one of my favorite moments in the whole episode.
What is that? Because we're basically going to move on.
It's the moment where he turns around and looks at her and goes, "I'm the manager," and it just hard cuts to the next thing.
I'm the manager.
I am the manager.
I am the manager. So it turns out that the principal has hired him to investigate the old school because everybody's just like, that shit's cursed, and lots of people have fucking died there. She I think today after school she just goes and helps him.
I think so.
Move his shit in there, and he actually lays it out. It's just be like, yeah, I actually did a lot of research about this place, and no, nobody died whenever the roof collapsed. That was actually just a workplace accident. A couple of people got hurt. Somebody did hang themselves here, but it's because they had a nervous breakdown. And the truck thing was an incident of drunk driving. So I don't think there's actually any ghosts here, but I'm going to do my due diligence and look over the place. And she's just like, this place spooky because it is. And she goes to help him set up everything. And there's a moment where he actually turns the lights on and fucking scares her because he's out of the room.
Was this before or after she comes up with her nickname for him?
This is immediately before because they set up the shelves and she quizzes him a little about the ghost hunting business. He's like, well, okay, why do you do this? And he's just like, well, somebody's got to do it. And it's just like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess you're good at it. You know, you're already managing a business at 17 or whatever, and you're so brilliant and handsome and everything. And he's just like, oh, am I handsome? It's just like, well, the others were infatuated with you. And he's just like, they have great taste. And she's like, God, what a fucking bitch.
she really does is just like, wow, you're an asshole. Like she basically all but calls him that. It's like, so good.
This fucking asshole. And she comes up with her nickname for him. She calls him Naru-chan in her mind because she thinks he's a horrendous narcissist.
Naruistic Naru-chan. That really took me out whenever that first came across the screen.
But yeah, they get everything set up, and then a little later, she's kind of passed out, and he just wakes her up, and he's just like, "All right, you can go for today." And she's like, "Oh shit, for today? Oh shit, he wants me to come back tomorrow."
That was really funny.
Girl found out what having a job is like.
So yeah, she stumbles out of the place after dark and gets immediately flashlighted by who I was convinced was the cops for a second, but I was just like, wait, this isn't America. But yeah, it's her friend. She's just like, you were in that building after dark with Shibuya. They're clearly like jealous, but she immediately disarms them. She's just like, you're like, hey, he's a fucking slave driver. It's just like, oh yeah, they keep saying Ghost Hunter, which is really good. But she explains to him A, what his deal is, and B, that he's a horrendous narcissist. And while they're doing that, Naoko appears from the darkness. The way she fucking enters scenes is incredible.
It's great. Nobody ever asks her to be there. She just shows up.
It's almost like she was there the whole time and the camera just pans a little bit and catches her. But she's just like, maybe you could get me an introduction to the ghost hunter guy.
Every scene that she's in, she has a wildly different personality. I love her.
She's
She's so off-putting. It's great.
She's very sweet and desperate in this scene. And
she's so wrong side.
Yeah, they basically just fucking ditch her. They're just like, look over there, and then they run. But my feels a little bad about it because she's clearly just like, oh well, she's a little weird, but maybe we shouldn't be such bitches about it.
Yeah, and the other girls are like, no, she's always been trouble. Stay away from her. She burned our crops. She poisoned our families.
She stole my Lisa Frank notebook and drew pentagrams all over it.
Yeah, she burned a mouse in front of me and left it in my front yard. I don't know what that was about.
She kicked me down the stairs and my shoes fell off.
She got me in trouble with my parents for playing Pokemon, and now I can't play Pokemon anymore.
She keeps cutting off her hair and burning it in class.
Yeah, next day. Next scene, move slide. So yeah, she's there in her civilian clothes. It's just like another day, another fucking dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at the van, getting ready to start some shit. And Shibuya's got a van full of nondescript tech cubes. I don't think they knew what they wanted to put in the van.
I think I get the impression that the person who made this anime watched ghost hunting shows in the US and was fascinated by them, but didn't quite 100% understand what was going on in those ghost hunting shows. So he just kind of replicated the best he could.
I want to see him break out the EMF readers and shit.
But, I wanted to see like the heat sensing cameras and all that shit.
Get the fucking stupid SLR camera that makes the little dancing man out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that stupid fucking thing. But yeah, they're trying to set up, and some adults roll up on them, and I'm just like, why do these people have Higurashi energy? This is fucked up.
Fucking Jesse and James enter
I don't
the
like
scene.
this.
I literally wrote Jesse and James.
But yeah, I don't remember their names. We're gonna call them by their professions.
Yeah, I just called them Maiden and Monk.
So yeah, they're just like, little boy likes to play with ghosts, huh? It's like a weird, like Bulk and Skull energy on these two.
It really is.
And their outfits are like pseudo late 80s vibes.
Yeah, they've got some drip, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are a shrine maiden and a monk from like Hansho Temple or something.
But like a cool shrine maiden and a cool monk.
Yeah, and actually they even remark on it's just like, since when do monks get to have long hair?
Aren't shrine maidens usually maidens?
Yeah, aren't they usually, virginal young women? And she gets really pissed.
It's very funny.
But yeah, they're just like, they're fully about to be like, get out of the way, child. And he just sort of ignores them, which is great. Unable to fight the cool teenager, they pick a fight with the teenage girl because Naoko's back. And she's talking about, it's like, it's good you're here. I'm very spiritually sensitive. And I've been tormented by the ghosts. And the shrine maiden is just like, no, you ain't, bitch.
The shrine maiden Alma goes like, who are you? Get out of here. Like, no.
Fuck off. Fucking Shinibio, Jesus. I would love for her to just say actually Jesus in English, but
that'd be funny.
Jesus.
Jesus. But yeah, this sparks off a verbal sparring match that is both pathetic and a little too close to shit I actually witnessed in high school.
Yeah.
But Naoko straight up threatens to summon up a ghost to possess her.
That line sealed the weird elementary school girl energy for me, because who amongst us hasn't been like, I'm gonna put a curse on you and then run away? Like,
yeah. Who amongst us hasn't been cursed? I've been attacked by a witch. But yeah, so they all make their way inside, right? And it's funny because Shibuya at this point is like the least unlikable of all the professionals at this point.
Yeah, and this
He's
is
gone
quickly.
from
This is
he's
only going to
gone
ramp
from-
up. Yeah.
he's gone from asshole to just kind of aloof guy. Oh, and they introduce an Australian named John Brownson.
John
Brown.
That-
Or is it John?
I wasn't ready for John Brown to enter the scene.
Is he John Brownson or John Brownson?
I think they're I think they're calling him John Brownson.
He's Australian and he's an exorcist.
He's a Roman Catholic priest.
He looks like one of the characters from the fucking what's that movie with the alien creatures? It's Starship Troopers. The Starship Troopers OVA. He looks like one of the guys in that.
Yeah, he looks like he's from Rio de Janeiro.
He looks like if Tails the Fox from Sonic was a human.
But
he looks like the founder of the Mormon religion. And you guys, hopefully you could tell just from like the sound of his voice, but he talks so fucked up. The dialect that they
make a joke about him having a Kansai accent, which if you translate into Americanism means he sounds like Cletus from The Simpsons.
Yeah, he's got like a weird hick accent that like specifically is like, why would someone learn, like the joke here is like, why would you learn Japanese in this accent? Like you're from Australia. Really good.
That's the thing too. I hope about the dub is that he does have like a really Australian accent, but also for some reason talks like a hick. That would be very funny.
I just like the idea of someone reciting the Lord's Prayer in an extremely thick Australian accent.
And this is
who art in heaven.
This is another thing about this episode is that they keep introducing characters to us, especially like the second after they introduce this young, hot Jesse and James, Maiden and Monk duo, they throw this young Australian, Japanese hick, exorcist, 19-year-old blonde boy at us, and it's too much.
So they all make their way.
It's not even the last character.
They all make their way inside. And they start to set up, and they just keep following Shibuya around, which I feel like they're just doing to neg him because he's just trying to work.
Yeah, he's doing his job, and they're not even doing anything except for making fun of him.
He's like clearly has lots of equipment to work with and shit, and they are literally religious officials who need nothing to do their job.
Yeah,
except maybe some fucking sage.
You hunting ghosts? You hunting ghosts in here, bro? That's cool.
I forget. Anyway, they talk about how there's and then they go off and try and do their job, and there's immediately a scream, and turns out the Miko, the Shrine Maiden woman, has got herself locked in the classroom. And it's funny because they're in this shitty old building, so they just don't give a damn about it. And the monk immediately just like, I'm gonna kick the door in, which it should be a sliding door, so I don't even know how that's gonna work.
He just wants to look cool.
But they kick the door in, and she's just like, yeah, there's a presence here. Slam the door behind me. And while they're talking about that, another character approaches from the darkness, clad in full like kimono and everything. She's like, you're wrong. There's no spirit here. I don't feel it. And she's like, oh shit, it's the TV spirit medium lady.
Oh my god. It's crossing
like,
Jordan.
How much money?
It's like the character, the creator of the anime was like, okay, whenever you have ghosts, what people show up? And he just thought of every single one. And he's like, okay, I have to have one of each in my show.
We'll put all of them in and have them compete.
In the first 23 first episode, I need all of these people here. I don't care how little they talk. They just have to be here.
So yeah, they have a little bit. They bitch at each other a little as they're prone to do. And the Miko finally decides, she's like, well, I believe there's a spirit here. I think it's probably an earth spirit, and I'm going to get fucking rid of it. And she goes to exit the room and runs into Naoko, who's just like, are you sure you're strong enough to to exercise it, and she's just like, get out of the way. And this is great because she kind of shoves her and she slides down the door frame, and the edit is too close together because her next dialogue isn't supposed to be related to that, but it's this excellent screenshot where she's just like, I was attacked.
Like, yeah, you were.
Because
well,
I read it immediately as the older woman fucking pushed me. I was attacked.
She was between. Yeah, it was very like those videos of those women who are like throwing a fit in public, and someone like just kind of moves past them and they throw themselves to the ground and they're like, "She attacked me. I was attacked." It's like, yeah, I guess you were. We saw.
This is. That if that was the screenshot you took, that wasn't the one I took.
Oh,
this is the one I took.
Oh yeah, good fisheye lens shit. Yeah, there was a moment whenever they were talking about the equipment and they fisheye lensed my, yeah. So
so you're like Barron's Lane looking ass screenshot.
So it turns out. It turns out that, Naoko thinks she was attacked by a ghoul on the second floor, and in the second floor hallway. And they all seem kind of skeptical, except for Shibuya, who's just like, second floor hallways, right? And he turns around to his fucking bat computer. Because he's rigged this entire place with surveillance in one day.
What I love about when she talks about how she was attacked too is that the ghost is like, you're too strong of a spiritually sensitive person. You have to leave. And that's just like so in line with everything we know about her, is that she's convinced that the spirit attacked her because she's too strong.
You're too spiritually sensitive. Your heart is too big. You smoke it the way nobody else does it. You have too much street wisdom.
You are too hot. You are too sexy. All of the guys want you too much. You have to leave this abandoned school building.
Get the fuck
Or
out
at
of
least
here.
that's what the ghost said.
They roll back the footage that he's been taking because he's seen footage. It shows her going up to the second floor hallway slowly, and then as she approaches the intersection, the whole camera fuzzes out, and he's just like, I don't know if that means there's an attack, but that is significant. Often when spirits approach, it causes the equipment to short out. I'm just like, is that so? Are you going to cause an electrical fire?
This is also an old school building that you've rigged by yourself for recording, so it could also be that, but could be a ghost.
Yeah, it could be a ghost. I mean,
could be a ghost.
I mean, you've had 12 hours to do this? Assuming you didn't go home.
It could be a ghost. Let's see what the Shrine Maiden or the monk or the medium or the exorcist think.
Oh yeah, I like how the exorcist isn't combative at all, and he just seems pretty chill. And he's just like, actually, can I just hang out with?
Yeah, John Brown really was an enigma. They just kind of threw into our laps and never spoke about again.
I like the idea that if what they're saying is true about ghost stories, that they collect sort of lesser demons. I do like the idea of this whole show just being everybody is useful.
Yeah. I think one of the things that really stuck out to me about this episode, I don't know if the whole anime is like this, but this episode in particular felt very fan fiction-y in that things just kind of happen one after another in a row. Characters are just introduced with a little to no like build up. They're just kind of there now and they're participating.
It really is just kind of like, and then the Shrine Maiden showed up, and then the monk showed up, and then the Australian guy showed up.
The Australian hick exorcist showed up.
The Hexorcist.
But one of the things that did save this into just being like not just like a terrible anime is that everybody was willing to fight each other on sight. Mei, as soon as she met Shibuya, wanted to fight him. Every time someone meets this asshole 17-year-old ghost hunter, they just want to verbally accost him.
He deserves it a little bit.
He does deserve it.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to pause the episode, but has anyone heard Magpie talk for a little while?
I think Magpie might
I
have been
think
destroyed.
that the ghosts might have gotten him.
Magpie.
It was
Yeah.
maybe the
Magpie, are
exorcist
you okay?
exorcised him, or the.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess
Uh-oh.
we're gonna have to do a seance to get Magpie back. Everyone hold hands. Hold my clammy hands real quick.
Oh shit! We don't have a seancer. We don't
No, I
have a.
can
We
do
don't.
it.
We, oh no,
I'm
we do have a
strong.
medium. Never mind.
So yeah, my power just flickered. So the weather is clearly telling us that we need
No,
to
it's
wrap
the
this one up,
ghosts.
and the episode was
Yes, we were
was
so
Yeah,
close.
almost
It's
over.
fine.
We even had a
So-
fun little bit. We were trying to seance.
So what? So what do we think of this show? I do have some thoughts. The animation is actually quite competent, and the characters are on model pretty much all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little rough if they're in the background, but whatever. But my favorite.
Damn, dude.
Uh-oh.
We lost him.
No.
We'll never know what his
Again.
favorite is.
We're never gonna know.
Take my hand.
We're never gonna know what his favorite is.
Blackle.
Yeah, I've
Walk
got the hands.
Blackle,
Move
ram
towards
your
the
head into this
candlelight,
crystal
Magpie.
ball.
I will.
Okay. We hear you, Magpie.
Friends,
Back.
are you here?
You're back, Magpie.
Are you here with us? Just type in the chat. Type in the
He's
chat.
gone
Type in the
again.
Ouija board. The Discord Ouija
Give
board.
us a
real quick.
sign.
Everyone, hands on the Ouija board
Yeah.
thingamajig. I forgot
a-
what it's
How
called.
old are you?
Yeah. Kate Blanchett?
Stop spelling the word butts.
You guys take it.
Magpie.
Blackwell, stop moving
I'm
it.
not moving it. I swear to God, I'm not moving it.
It feels like you guys aren't taking this seance serious.
I'm taking it
Blackwell,
seriously, but
stop
Blackwell
moving the
keeps
Kate
moving the
Blanchett.
Kate
I'm not-
Blanchett.
Okay, I'll take my hands off of it, and I'll only move it with my mind.
Okay. Oh,
This has gone completely off the rails.
I
and
think that's the same
great.
thing. It has. I think, okay, so as I was saying before, the one thing I did really like about this episode, about this anime, is that just the arguing was so
Yeah.
funny, and that the
Yeah.
characters were laughing at each other during the arguments while they were talking.
I don't know
thought that
anything
was a
about
nice
this
touch.
series, but it's difficult to imagine that this doesn't become like the setup. Like every episode, it's these fucking people coming together and they're like, "We hate you, but there's a ghost." And that is kind of
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, we hate each other.
Yeah.
We all hate each other, but there's a
Yeah,
ghost.
it'd be great if
I like that
it
concept.
would be great if every episode they introduced 10 more people.
They just by the end they just had like Game of Thrones sized
Yeah.
cast of people all in one building trying to
They've got just like
exercise a ghost or
75
whatever.
ghost hunters from all over Japan, and it's just like one ghost. And these fucking people spill into the
It
haunted
ends at-
school, and the ghost like peeks around the corner, like, Jesus Christ, what are all these people doing here?
I
gotta get out of here.
want the last episode to I want the last episode to take place at like Ghost Hunting Con or something. It's like a convention center full of all of these people.
Exactly.
Hey,
All right. Well, I guess we should wrap this up and go ahead
Yeah,
and
I think Magpie might have
close
been
out.
completely
I
consumed
really
by
hope
humans.
this episode doesn't end up lost, because
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know
he's-
about you guys, but I really liked this.
I liked it too.
it was a great
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, Magpie back from the dead? Is he Jesusing?
Is the tomb empty, you guys? Stay tuned.
Is the tomb empty? Mags, if you can hear us,
The
just
tomb-
chat. Just type stuff in the chat, and we're gonna wrap it up. I think because it's I think Magpie might have been destroyed by demons. But anyway, this has been the one episode rule. That's one that
Wait. We have to do the. Are you gonna watch more?
Oh, I'm not. I don't normally watch anime.
I will look up the plot line for the rest of the season on Wikipedia.
I might end up watching the English dub. I'm curious. It's got one of my least favorite voice actors in it. Actually, it's got two, but it's got so many of my favorites in it that I just feel like this might be a good like put it
Counteract
on and then not look at it and do other stuff type of show.
Agreed. Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, now that we're not the one number. Whatever. What is it? I've been gone so long.
So we're on email. It's a new social media called email. And it's one episode cast, one the word not the number at gmail.com. And also we're on Twitter and Blue Sky at one episode cast, also one the word not the number. And you can send us emails. You can send us pictures of ghosts that you found. You could send us recommendations for anime. You can send us
Magpie Soul if you have it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have Mag Soul,
back.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
We do need it because he is sitting in the corner of the recording booth and he does look like a lifeless hostage.
Yeah, the head is 360.
He's starting to like light is glowing out of his eyes. It's quite impressive actually.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
You said you wrapped up the episode. What'd you say?
We said
We just sort of
we told
chatted.
everybody your real first and last name and your address.
And we told them that you were at the Capitol riots.
We made some
Yeah.
we made some Kate Blanchett puns.
Excellent.
Just a couple though.
Okay, did you do the regular procedure then?
Yes.
Because I can just edit that together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a bit about trying to like summon you with a Ouija board, and then
Oh
we
my
did like a
fucking
bit
God.
of it. It was
it,
great.
it was pretty good.
There is a hellacious storm happening right now.
Oh no.
Really?
It
Crazy.
just shook the floor.
Jesus. No
Crazy.
wonder.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you cut out right before you were about to say what your favorite part of the episode was.
Okay. It was the fucking editing.
Yeah,
It was the fact that it was a step away from Star Wipes.
I know.
I think
No.
that did get me too, and
The zoom out.
that was another
Yeah.
thing. I think the creator of the anime must have loved the ghost hunting shows in the US because that's how they're edited in the
Yeah,
US.
it is. It really is. So maybe we'll tack this on at the end of the episode.